It's a tough appraisal because it's rare. 20,000 and up. What do you think?
Holy mackerel.
Yeah. So you really hit the spot today. You knew what to pick.
I almost didn't bring it.
And your grandmother was not telling a lie.
What if an old piece of jewelry sitting untouched in a drawer turned out to be covered in real diamonds worth a fortune? And what if the piece everyone thought was fake was actually a rare treasure hiding in plain sight for decades? Welcome to our channel. Today, we're counting down some of the most unbelievable diamond jewelry discoveries ever revealed on Antiques Roadshow. From forgotten brooches and family rings to necklaces no one believed were valuable, these ordinary-looking pieces shocked their owners when experts uncovered real diamonds, precious metals, and incredible hidden histories. Before we begin, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell for more amazing stories of forgotten treasures becoming life-changing discoveries.
It's in the range of $4,000 to $6,000.
Really? I'm shocked. Thank you, Grandma.
Yeah.
Case 1, lady. ASTOR'S historic diamonds necklace.
You know, on the Antiques Roadshow we see everything, but rarely do I get presented with something that is quite so spectacular as this diamond necklace. It's not just a diamond necklace, it's like a diamond skipping rope.
From the moment this necklace was revealed, the expert knew this was no ordinary piece of diamond jewelry. Its enormous size alone was enough to impress, but the story behind it made the piece even more special. The necklace once belonged to Lady Astor, one of the most famous figures in British history, who later donated this precious piece to the city of Plymouth so future Lady Mayoresses could wear it during important occasions. But its famous former owner was only part of the story. A closer inspection revealed that the necklace itself was also a masterpiece of early 20th century jewelry.
I think that this is a pre-First World War platinum, diamond and sapphire necklace that was bought second-hand. I think this necklace was from a high-class American jeweler.
From platinum, diamonds, and sapphires, the necklace carried all the qualities of luxury jewelry created before the First World War. During this era, high-end pieces were not only designed to look spectacular, but also to showcase exceptional craftsmanship. And what surprised the expert even more was that this necklace was not limited to just one form.
That it breaks down into no less than 6 separate components. And this was another feature of jewellery of that period, that you could wear it as one long necklace or break it down into a series of shorter bracelets.
The combination of its complex design, valuable gemstones, and connection to Lady Astor turned it into exactly the kind of piece collectors search for. Because in the world of antique jewelry, provenance can sometimes make an already rare item even more valuable. Then came the final appraisal.
I think it would sell for probably at least £300,000 to £400,000, at least. And I think, bearing in mind that provenance can make a huge difference, this has to be worth for insurance at least £500,000 to £600,000.
More than just a necklace covered in diamonds, Lady Astor's jewelry became a combination of beauty, craftsmanship, and a historic story lasting over a century. Case 2, Edwardian sapphire and diamond ring.
It belonged to my great-great-grandmother. I don't think it was an engagement ring because I think back in those days, and she died in 1912, that they weren't given engagement rings.
So what we have here is a platinum, diamond, and sapphire ring. I would characterize it to be from the Edwardian period.
When this ring appeared on Antiques Roadshow, it was first seen simply as a piece of family jewelry passed down through generations. But after taking a closer look, the expert quickly realized this was not just an ordinary antique ring. It was a piece from the Edwardian period, an era famous for elegant jewelry designs in the early 20th century, when platinum was used to create delicate structures strong enough to hold precious gemstones. From the detailed craftsmanship to the surrounding diamonds, every element showed the quality of the piece. But the detail that truly caught the expert's attention was at the center.
The featured aspect of this ring is, of course, the sapphire. And when I saw that sapphire, my eyes lit up.
In the world of gemstones, not every sapphire carries the same value. Beyond size and beauty, a stone's origin can create an enormous difference. And this sapphire had signs that reminded the expert of one of the most sought-after sapphires in the world.
Cashmere sapphires are considered to be the most beautiful, perfect, standard sapphire that you could have in a piece of jewelry. In 1880, there was a landslide in the Kashmir region of India, and that landslide revealed sapphire deposits. The sapphires that were coming out of this area were the most beautiful in their color and their depth and their quality.
Cashmere sapphires are famous for their unique blue color and extreme rarity because the supply from this region existed for only a very limited period. Although further testing would be needed for absolute confirmation, the possibility that this stone came from Kashmir was enough to turn the family ring into a piece collectors would desire. Then came the appraisal that completely surprised its owner.
And if it is indeed a cashmere sapphire, which I feel pretty confident it is, at auction I think we're looking at somewhere between $100,000 and $150,000.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A ring once considered only a family keepsake turned out to possibly contain one of the rarest sapphires in the world, with a value far beyond anything its owner ever expected. Case 3. Convertible Diamonds Tiara.
I cannot think of a better venue to see a tiara than at Balmoral Castle.
Absolutely. And it's been worn here.
Well,
From the moment this tiara appeared on Antiques Roadshow, it already carried a special story. Unlike many antique jewelry pieces that spend decades stored away, this one had actually been worn during important occasions and became part of the family's memories. For the owner, its original value was not about diamonds or an appraisal number, but about the moments it had witnessed. And one of the most unforgettable memories was her wedding day, more than half a century earlier.
I think you have this
I
wonderful
have a photograph of myself at my wedding 52 years ago. And I remember the hairdresser coming to fix it on very securely, because with the veil, it had to be really firmly in place.
And what did it feel like wearing this?
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. You feel like a fairy princess.
But beyond the family story, the expert quickly noticed another fascinating detail about its craftsmanship. In the early 20th century, many high-end jewelry pieces were created not only to be beautiful, but also to be versatile. A single piece could be worn in multiple ways, and this tiara was a perfect example.
You wear it as a necklace,
Yes.
but it has a frame that can
That's
be put
right.
on it so that it can be worn
Yes.
as a tiara.
Yes.
The ability to transform between a necklace and a tiara revealed an impressive level of craftsmanship, as the design needed to remain both secure and elegant in both forms. Details like the platinum structure, diamonds, and refined finishing also showed that this was a piece from an important period in jewelry history. After considering both the craftsmanship and the lasting appeal of antique tiaras, the expert finally revealed its true value.
Well, you know, I can see this being very sought after because tiaras are still very popular.
Yes.
With the right auction, I would say this could be in excess of £60,000.
Really. We might have to up the insurance.
From a piece of jewelry connected to family memories, this tiara turned out to be a beautifully crafted diamond treasure worth far more than its owner ever expected. Case 4 Art Deco-style diamonds, bracelet, and Van Cleef ring.
And this took place probably once a month for almost 12 years. And when she passed, she left these two items to me in her will. And I remember admiring the ring because that was something that she would always wear when I'd see her Sunday night.
For the owner, these two pieces of jewelry were not originally seen as a luxury collection, but as memories of a special friendship that lasted for many years. But when they appeared on Antiques Roadshow, the expert quickly realized there were more surprises hidden behind this emotional story. The attention first went to the bracelet. With its many diamonds and eye-catching design, it seemed like the most valuable piece in the appraisal. And as expected, the bracelet was truly a high-quality creation.
The bracelet's kind of a classic 1940s bracelet. We can tell it has some European cut diamonds in it. If you look through the bracelet, the larger round stones. All add up to about 8 carats.
The European cut diamonds, classic 1940s design and platinum setting, showed that this was a beautifully crafted piece of jewelry. But what made the story even more interesting was that this valuable bracelet was not the biggest discovery. The smaller and less noticeable item was actually the one that truly excited the expert.
Today, if I had to reappraise that for auction, I would tell you that that bracelet would be $15,000 to $20,000.
Wow. That's quite a gift.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not here for the bracelet. I'm here for the ring.
Oh, really?
At first glance, the ring was an elegant design featuring pearls, platinum, and diamonds. But in the world of fine jewelry, sometimes a tiny detail like a maker's signature can completely change the value. And after taking a closer look, the expert discovered something special hidden on the ring.
Now, when we turn the ring around
Yes.
and we pull it off, over here is where the magic starts to happen. We can see right over here, it is signed, VCA.
Van Cleef and Arpels.
Those 3 small letters confirm that the ring came from Van Cleef and Arpels, one of the most prestigious jewelry brands in the world. In the end, the piece that was overshadowed by the diamond bracelet became the biggest surprise, turning a gift from an old friend into a true hidden treasure. Case 5, Renaissance Diamonds, Marriage Jewel.
I got it from my mother, who got it from her parents, and it goes back to my great-grandfather, who managed a shipyard during World War I. And after the war, he traveled around the world and brought home some souvenirs. And this was one of them.
But what the family did not know was that sometimes the smallest objects can hide the biggest historical stories. In the world of antique jewelry, age is only one part of what creates value. What matters even more is whether the origin, previous owners, and journey of the piece can be verified. Especially with items that are hundreds of years old, many jewels have been altered, taken apart, or lost important evidence over time. And one detail preserved with this piece opened the door to its true story.
And we have an original bill of sale, and it's dated 1923, and it came from Arnold Seligman in Paris. Seligman was a very well-known connoisseur and collector of antiquities, Renaissance jewels, and, as he says, curiosities on his bill of sale.
For collectors, provenance can be the factor that transforms a beautiful piece of jewelry into a historical artifact. The further back in time a piece goes, the rarer it becomes to find one with its story still intact. But the next discovery was what truly placed this jewel beyond an ordinary antique.
This jewel had been made for Gabriel Bethlen. He was the Prince of Transylvania in honor of his marriage to Catherine of Brandenburg, and that it dates from the late 16th century. And so what you do have here is the actual jewel. There are many pieces out there that have attributions that are never quite correct, but this piece is 100% correct.
A Renaissance marriage jewel was not created only for beauty. It was a piece filled with symbolism. During this period in Europe, these jewels often told stories through gold, gemstones, and religious imagery. Combined with hand craftsmanship, enamel work, and traditional rose-cut diamonds, surviving examples have become highly desirable among collectors. After considering its rarity, scale, and meaning behind the design, the expert finally revealed the appraisal.
On the roadshow, we see very few late 16th century pieces. There just aren't that many out there, and it's the scale and the magnitude of this piece and the symbolism that really makes it so extraordinary. At auction, I would place a value on this of somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000.
What began as a family piece passed down through generations became a rare Renaissance jewelry discovery, where the true value came from both its craftsmanship and the history it carried. Case 6, Gold Singing Bird Automaton Box.
Sunlight and gold, look at it. It has to be gold.
Beautiful.
Looking like that, doesn't it? What a wonderful, wonderful object. And it's a gold box, isn't it?
Yeah.
But the gold box is secondary to its real function.
At first glance, this object immediately catches attention with its shining gold surface and detailed decoration. But what truly impressed the expert was not just its luxurious appearance. Inside this small box was one of the most complex creations made by 19th century craftsmen, a singing bird automaton. It combined the art of jewelry making with miniature clock making, where every movement was powered by an incredibly detailed mechanical system. And the clue inside revealed where this special creation came from.
And inside we can see the name of the supplier, and he's J.M. Badoulet and Sons of Geneva. And that's sometimes a clue to people who know about these things that this is going to be an automaton.
Geneva has long been a famous center for high-quality watches and mechanical creations. In the early 1800s, automatons like this were considered symbols of wealth and exceptional craftsmanship. But the true value of this box was only revealed when the mechanism inside came to life.
It's rather exciting moment. Shall we give it a go?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Here we go. Oh, look at that.
Once the box was activated, it showed why these creations once amazed collectors. Inside was a mechanical bird designed to imitate life, from tiny movements to sound. The fact that such a complex mechanism could still function after more than 2 centuries is what made the object so special.
And he's made of hummingbirds' feathers.
Oh, really? I
and his
didn't know
beak is
that.
of ivory, and he's got little ruby eyes, I think. And it's a miracle of craftsmanship and clockmaking skill, really.
Every small detail proved that this was not just a gold box, but a rare piece of mechanical art. With precious materials, complex craftsmanship, and the ability to still work after hundreds of years, it became one of the most unique discoveries on Antiques Roadshow. Case 7, Late Victorian Blue Diamond Ring.
I think it's true to say that this sort of little ring with a little stone would pass a lot of people by. What do you know about it?
Only that it belongs to my mother-in-law, that's all.
This is the kind of jewelry that many people could easily overlook if they found it inside an old family jewelry box. It did not have a massive size or an extremely eye-catching design. At first, the ring simply looked like a personal keepsake. But in the world of antique jewelry, sometimes the smallest detail is exactly what creates the greatest value. After a closer inspection, the expert discovered that the most special feature was not the outer design, but the small stone at the center of the ring.
Now, the blue stone is in fact a diamond, and that makes it very special indeed. It's a blue diamond. To see a blue diamond of this kind of color is extremely rare.
When people think of diamonds, many imagine clear, colorless stones. But some natural diamonds are formed with special colors, known as fancy colored diamonds. Shades like blue, pink, and green are among the most desirable because they are incredibly rare. And with colored diamonds, value is not only about size. The strength and quality of the color can make a huge difference.
And in fact, perhaps one sees one per year or 2 years. I think a lot of people assume that they come in white, but they also come in lots of fancy colours as well, of which green and blue and pink are probably the rarest colour to find.
That is why finding a blue diamond in a small Victorian ring made this piece far more special. Rare stones like this often require detailed testing because even a small difference in color grade can greatly affect their value. Then the expert finally revealed the number that surprised the owner.
All I can say is that it ought to be worth, say, between £10,000 and £25,000.
That's a lot more than I thought.
From what seemed like a simple family ring, this piece turned out to be hiding one of the rarest types of natural diamonds in the world. Case 8. Agatha Christie, Hidden Diamonds Treasure.
Agatha Christie is, of course, famous for her stories of murders and mysteries. And you discovered an Agatha Christie mystery all of your own.
I did.
Agatha Christie is famous for mystery stories, where small clues slowly reveal an unexpected truth. But this time, a mystery connected to her name appeared in real life. It all began when a fan joined an auction at Greenway, the holiday home that once belonged to Agatha Christie. What she bought was not an expensive piece of jewelry, but simply an old trunk connected to the author she admired. But nobody knew that this ordinary-looking object was hiding a major surprise inside.
So I put a bid on this very tatty-looking trunk, and I hadn't seen it, obviously, because put a telephone bid in, and then had a phone call from them to say, yes, you've got it. So
after the trunk was brought home, the story began to feel just like a detective novel. A secret remained locked away inside, waiting for the right moment to be discovered. And when the box was finally opened, this simple souvenir turned into a real treasure.
what I didn't realise is that when I got the trunk home, there was a strong box in it that was locked. So it sat in my house for probably 12 months without me opening it, because I thought fate will take a hand one day. And In the end, fate was actually a builder with a crowbar who opened it.
What was found was not valuable only because of the diamonds inside. In the collecting world, a connection to a famous figure can transform a beautiful object into something with a much more powerful story. And the combination of real jewelry, its link to Agatha Christie, and the surprising discovery made this a truly unforgettable find.
And couldn't really believe that what was in there. There was a diamond ring.
Oh, this diamond ring?
A diamond ring.
In the end, the diamond brooch reached £22,000, while the diamond ring sold for £17,500. From an old trunk bought because of a love for Agatha Christie, the owner discovered a real mystery, almost like a story from one of her own novels. Case 9, 1930s Art Deco diamonds ring.
We have some sumptuous jewellery for you to look at, and we're going to play basic, better, best. With you, Susan, you brought along these gorgeous rings, and we have to, all together, assess them in value, from the basic through to the better to the highest in value, the best.
This time, Antiques Roadshow brought a different kind of challenge. Among 3 stunning diamond rings, which one was actually the most valuable? From appearance alone, the answer was not simple. A ring can impress people with its size or sparkle, but in the world of antique jewelry, appearance is only part of the story. Factors like age, design style, and originality can create a huge difference in value.
We've got 3 diamond set rings, all inspired by Art Deco design. And the Art Deco period was 1920s to 1930s. By the time you get to the 1930s, it's mainly dominated by diamonds, with the odd bit of colour thrown in.
Art Deco is one of the most famous jewelry styles of the 20th century, loved for its strong geometric lines, balance, and modern appearance. High-end designs from this period often combine platinum and diamonds to create a luxurious but distinctive look. Because of its lasting popularity, many pieces today continue to recreate the Art Deco style. But a design inspired by an era and an original piece from that period can have completely different values.
And these are all genuine diamonds?
All genuine diamonds, absolutely.
No cheap stuff here for us.
This made the challenge even harder because all 3 rings contained real diamonds and were high-quality pieces of jewelry. Now, the expert had to find the most important detail, which ring truly carried historical value.
So the basic ring in the middle has a value of £5,000. The better has a value of £10,000, and the one in front of you, the Art Deco 1930s one, is £20,000.
Well, we'd take them all, wouldn't we?
In the end, the winner was not just the most beautiful ring, but the one that truly represented the Art Deco period. With a value reaching £20,000, this diamond ring from the 1930s proved that in antique jewelry, history can sometimes be just as important as the gemstones themselves. Case 10. Tiffany Yellow Diamonds Pendant.
You told me that your grandmother left this pendant to you. This was given to her by her second husband. When were they married?
They were married in 1918.
For the owner, this pendant was originally just a piece of family jewelry passed down over many years. She wore it because she loved the appearance of the piece, not because she knew its true value or the story behind it. But on Antiques Roadshow, family keepsakes can sometimes hide the most unexpected details. And with this pendant, all attention quickly turned to the yellow stone at the center.
She said that it was a yellow diamond, and
did you believe her?
I didn't know, because it seemed pretty big, and Granny kind of liked to, if she wanted you to like something, she sometimes sort of embellished on its attributes. So
the owner's doubts were completely understandable. Natural yellow diamonds are among the most desirable colored diamonds, and stones with beautiful color and significant size are not commonly found in family jewelry. Unlike traditional white diamonds, the value of fancy colored diamonds depends heavily on the strength of the color, rarity, and overall quality of the stone. So the biggest question was whether the story passed down in the family was actually true.
I realized it was a diamond. She was telling the truth. Yes. Not only is it a diamond, but it's actually an important size for a yellow diamond because it measured over 1 carat.
But the real yellow diamond was not the only surprise. In the world of fine jewelry, a small signature from the right maker can completely change how a piece is valued. And when the expert checked the back of the pendant, he discovered the most important detail.
Turned it over. It has a signature. It's Tiffany Company. It's a tough appraisal because it's rare. 20,000 and up. What do you think?
Holy mackerel!
The Tiffany & Company signature transformed the pendant into a much more special discovery. From a piece where the owner was not even sure if the stone was real, it turned out to combine a yellow diamond of over 1 carat with the name of one of the world's most famous jewelers. Case 11, Victorian Heart Diamonds, Pendant.
This piece was originally an engagement ring of my great aunt. Her name was Renee Thornton. She was actually a coloratura soprano at the Metropolitan Opera in the 1920s.
From the story behind it, this piece was already more than just an ordinary diamond pendant. Before being passed down through the family, it belonged to a woman with a special life connected to the famous world of opera. In the early 20th century, fine jewelry was not only a display of beauty or wealth, it also represented social status, relationships, and important moments in the owner's life. With antique jewelry, value sometimes comes not only from diamonds or design, but also from the people and stories connected to the piece. And the journey of this jewel continued with another new chapter.
After that, she divorced her husband, who was a conductor of the Met, and she ended up marrying in the 30s, early 30s, a duke from Italy, and she was the Duchess d'Andria, and this was her engagement ring.
Across generations, family jewelry is often changed to suit its next owner. Some pieces are stored away and forgotten, while others are transformed so they can continue to be worn and appreciated. And that is exactly what happened with this piece.
My mother inherited it, and she didn't like it as an engagement ring, so she changed the back of it and changed it from a ring to a pendant that my mom could wear.
Okay. It's a very beautiful piece.
After a closer inspection, the expert realized the piece still carried many features of high-end jewelry from the early 20th century. The platinum and gold structure, along with the craftsmanship style, reflected the skill of jewelers from that period. But beyond its history, the diamonds on the pendant were also an important part of its value.
That center diamond is about a carat 17, and this is by calculation, so I'm measuring and figuring out what I think it is. I think a piece like this, retail, would be $20,000.
Are you kidding me?
Old European cut diamonds are connected to the period before modern cutting techniques became widely used. Combined with the heart-shaped design, diamond quality, and the story of Renee Thornton, the pendant became a connection between art, personal history, and fine jewelry. From a family piece transformed over time, it turned out to preserve a special story lasting across generations. Case 12, Brazilian Yellow Diamonds Ring.
It was my great-grandfather's.
So how long ago would that be?
Maybe 1910, but we don't really know when he would have had it, but we think maybe around that date. And it's just been passed down through the family, and it now belongs to my brother.
For many years, this ring was simply seen as a family piece passed down through generations. Without many documents or confirmed details, the family only knew about it through old stories. But in the world of antique jewelry, a small clue about origin can sometimes reveal the true value of a stone. Because diamonds are not only judged by appearance, but also by their history, age, and journey.
And do you have any idea where it originated from?
We've just been told that it's a Brazilian yellow diamond, and apart from that, we don't know a thing.
Before South African diamond mines became famous, Brazil was once one of the most important sources of diamonds in the world. That made the family story especially interesting to the expert. But to truly understand the ring's value, the most important detail was still the stone itself.
So it's very likely that this diamond did actually originate from Brazil.
And did they specifically find yellow diamonds in Brazil?
Well, they find white, yellow, all colours.
This yellow diamond carried the characteristics of an older stone, with a cut that was different from many modern diamonds today. Valuable gemstones are often preserved through generations, even when the surrounding design is changed. And when the expert estimated its true size, the ring delivered another surprise.
So I think that this stone probably weighs somewhere between 4 and 5 carats, or at least 12,000 pounds. Anything between 12 and 15,000.
An antique yellow diamond weighing between 4 and 5 carats transformed this piece into much more than an ordinary family ring. With its impressive size, long history, and special origin, the diamond was finally recognized as a treasure preserved across generations. Case 13. Rolex President Diamonds Watch.
Well, the watch you brought in today certainly can't be described as subtle, discreet, or hiding its light under a bushel. It's fantastic. It's a gold Rolex, diamond set bezel, diamond set dial.
From the very first look, this watch was clearly not designed to be understated. Gold, diamonds, and its bold appearance made it a Rolex that immediately attracted attention. But behind that luxury was more than just the value of its materials. This was also a watch connected to the image of success and status during a specific era. For the owner, its meaning went far beyond an expensive object.
Yeah, it's my father's watch, so he passed away in the late 80s, and then obviously it's been passed down to myself, so we've kind of had it sat in a vault until I was a little bit older. And
For many years, this Rolex was kept as a family keepsake rather than an investment. But in the world of luxury watches, models like this have always carried a special appeal. Especially during the 1980s, a gold Rolex was often seen as a symbol of success and years of hard work. And the expert quickly recognized it as one of the brand's most famous models.
So if you're a successful business person in the 1980s, this would certainly be the watch that you would be wearing. The model is called a Rolex President.
I think he'll probably like that.
The Rolex President, also known as the Day Date, became iconic thanks to its luxurious design and instantly recognizable style. With its gold case, diamond bezel, and diamond dial, this watch perfectly represented the bold style of that period. But for collectors, condition and original accessories can also have a major impact on value.
You've got the original guarantee certificates, lots of paperwork, and the watch itself, at auction, you're probably dealing with around £12,000 to £15,000.
Wow, very good. Wouldn't sell it though.
Keeping the box, paperwork, and original details made this Rolex even more complete in the eyes of collectors. But beyond its auction value, it remained a piece that preserved the image and story of the father who once owned it. A gold watch covered with diamonds ultimately became something valuable, both as a luxury object and as a family memory. Case 14. Yellow Diamonds Ring.
This ring was part of a much bigger set of jewellery with tiara and necklaces, surtoises, bracelets, I think, as well. And it was passed down through the family.
Originally, this ring was not created as a single piece of jewelry. It was once part of a much larger jewelry set, the kind of luxurious collection designed to be worn during important occasions and passed down through generations. But over time, not every antique jewelry set remains complete. Many collections are separated, redesigned, or sold as family circumstances change, and sometimes the smallest surviving piece becomes the one that carries the story of the entire collection.
I mean, we certainly had the tiara and stuff
like
that.
But my parents sold a lot of it.
Because they were broke.
Yeah, so they sold quite a lot of it, but they kept the clasp.
Although much of the original collection was no longer with the family, the ring still held one detail that immediately caught the expert's attention: the yellow diamond at the center. Many people think of diamonds as clear and colorless stones. But in nature, diamonds can actually appear in a range of different colors because of the conditions and elements involved during their formation deep beneath the earth. Unlike more common white diamonds, natural colored diamonds are often admired for their rarity and distinctive appearance. But color alone does not determine the entire value. Experts also look closely at the size, clarity, and overall quality of the stone.
It's a very clean stone. There's very little inclusions inside the stone that I can see, and it's a large size. It's about 4 carats in size.
A 4-carat yellow diamond was already an impressive discovery, but another important detail was the way the stone had been created. Unlike many modern diamonds that are cut with advanced technology, older stones often reveal the skill and style of the individual craftsman. These small differences may not look perfect by modern standards, but they give antique jewelry its unique character and historical value.
So I would say at auction you'd be looking in the region of about £10,000 to £15,000.
Nice. Dude, we are so going out to dinner.
With a large yellow diamond, traditional craftsmanship, and a history connected to generations of ownership, it became much more than just a beautiful piece of jewelry. A small item that survived after the rest of the collection disappeared ultimately became the final piece carrying forward a much larger family story. Case 15 diamond ring connected to the Romanian royal family.
Now, the sight of a box like this often heralds the fact that it contains something by Fabergé. And when we open it up like this, we can see that it's certainly Russian, but not necessarily by Fabergé.
From the moment the box was opened, the expert realized this was not an ordinary diamond ring. In the world of antique jewelry, small details like a box, a signature, or the name of a maker can reveal a lot about the origin of a piece. At first, the ring brought to mind high-end Russian jewelry from the early 20th century. But the story behind it was what made the piece even more fascinating.
Well, I'm surprised you said Russian, actually, because I inherited it from my mother-in-law, and her father, I understand, bought it when the Romanian royal family had to sell all their jewels and they were no longer becoming royal and they were sent out to Romania. So I suppose I sort of thought that writing on the box was Romanian.
For many years, the family believed the ring had a special past, but they could not fully confirm the story. For jewelry connected to aristocratic families, provenance can be just as important as the materials or gemstones. The box suggested a connection to luxury Russian jewelry from the early 20th century, a period when Russian jewelers were known for pieces created for nobility and royalty. And when the expert examined it more closely, the clues on the box began to reveal more about its journey.
Well, it's certainly in Cyrillic, and actually I think what it does say is that it's retailed by a jeweller called Malkanar, and then underneath of Odessa. And I think we can be absolutely sure that this is contemporary with Fabergé, not only from the style of the box, but also from the style of the ring.
Although it was not made by Fabergé, the ring still belonged to the same era of luxurious Russian jewelry. The combination of elegant design, precious materials, and fine craftsmanship showed that this was a piece made for someone extremely wealthy. But for the owner, the most important question was whether the family story was actually true.
And I can't see much hope of buying a Russian ring like that, really, for much less than about £7,000, £8,000, £9,000.
Well, that's very reassuring.
Although the original owner could not be identified, the quality of the craftsmanship suggested it almost certainly belonged to someone of high status. From a family piece with a mysterious origin, the ring became a small connection to the history and world of European aristocratic jewelry. Case 16. Chopard. Happy diamonds. Earrings.
Well, I think you're our farthest travelled person here today. Where have you come from?
Perth, Australia.
Not every incredible diamond discovery on Antiques Roadshow begins with a luxury collection or a family vault. Sometimes, a truly valuable piece of jewelry can be mistaken for an ordinary accessory simply because no one recognizes the small details hidden within it. And these earrings were the perfect example, a piece bought because of its sparkling appearance, but hiding a very famous name in the world of fine jewelry.
I bought them for a fancy dress.
Okay, and what was the fancy dress party about?
We had to, the theme was op shop glamour. So we had to go and find something in the op shop that was glamorous that we could wear for the dinner.
The owner, the earrings were originally just a bit of bling that matched the theme of the party. But in the luxury jewelry market, true value is not determined by where something is found, but by its design, materials, and the signature of the maker. Many major brands have their own recognizable features, and just one small detail can completely change the story behind a piece.
They're just a bit of bling, really. $10 bit of bling.
$10?
What caught the expert's attention was not only whether the stones were real diamonds, the way they were placed inside the design became the important clue. Because in modern jewelry history, some brands became famous not only because of gemstones, but because they created designs that were almost impossible to mistake.
The noise that the tester made says that they are diamonds. And inside the centre bit here, you've also got some lovely floating diamonds, or happy diamonds, as they tend to be called in this range of jewellery.
The freely moving diamonds inside are the famous feature of the Happy Diamonds collection, one of Chopard's most recognizable designs. The idea of allowing diamonds to move freely inside the setting lets them continuously catch and reflect light, creating an effect very different from traditional jewelry.
At auction, we're going to be looking in the region of £4,000 to £6,000. Thank you. Will you be coming back?
Yeah. Case, 1930s, yellow diamond ring.
I love to see a jewel in its original box, and this definitely looks like it's been on a real journey. Tell me about the journey.
Well, my granddad bought it for my nana in probably the 1930s or 40s.
Sometimes, a small detail like the original box can help tell more of the story behind a piece of jewelry. For collectors, elements such as the box or ownership history can show how carefully an item has been preserved and valued over time. But beyond the family story, this ring also had technical details that especially caught the experts' attention.
I mean, it's because it's quite a big diamond.
It is.
You know,
it is.
It's just under 2.5 carats.
Right.
In size. And it is set in platinum and 18-carat yellow gold.
A diamond of nearly 2.5 carats was already a highlight, but size is only one part of the evaluation. With antique diamonds, experts also examine the color, cut, and how the stone is presented within the original design. The combination of platinum and 1/8-carat gold reflects the style of fine jewelry from an earlier period, where precious materials were often used to protect and enhance the center stone.
It's fluorescing.
Right.
So if I put an actual UV light on it, not all diamonds do this, but some diamonds do this.
Fluorescence is a phenomenon where some diamonds react and glow under ultraviolet light because of natural characteristics within the stone structure. Beyond this reaction, the cutting style was another important clue. Before modern technology became common, diamonds were often cut in different styles, and those details can reveal when a stone was created.
And you say that it was given about the 1930s, but that's about right for the style of cutting. At auction, you're probably going to be looking at in the region about £4,000 to £6,000.
That's lovely.
The details found in the diamond help connect the piece to the family story that had been passed down. More than just a gold and diamond ring, it preserved traces of a jewelry style from decades earlier. From a gift kept through time, the ring finally revealed value through its stone, craftsmanship, and the history behind it. Case, 18 MUGHAL Diamonds ring.
Well, I bought it in a local charity shop, and it was with the costume jewellery.
How much did it cost?
It cost me £1.
£1?
£1, yeah.
Right.
When the owner bought this ring, she simply thought it was an ordinary accessory. It was not found in a luxury jewelry store, but among pieces of costume jewelry items usually purchased for their appearance rather than the value of their materials. But sometimes in the world of antiques, the objects that are easiest to overlook can hide the most important details. And with this £1 ring, the first clue did not come from the stone in the center.
No.
So I just thought it was a nice ring with pretty glass inside.
I looked at it and I thought, that's interesting, because of this rather unusual fluted back. Now, can you see the way that's got that kind of sunburst effect?
When appraising antique jewelry, the back of a piece can sometimes reveal more than what is seen on the front. The craftsmanship, stone setting, and small handmade details can help identify the period and origin of a piece. And this unusual design pointed to a much older chapter in the ring's history.
Yes.
That kind of design is typical of jewellery that was made in Georgian times.
Okay.
So we can date it to around about 1790, 1800, that sort of period.
Okay.
From something that appeared to be simple costume jewelry, the ring was suddenly identified as a piece more than 2 centuries old. But what made it even more special was the combination of antique craftsmanship and Mughal influence, a jewelry tradition known for using high-purity gold and natural gemstones. And the biggest secret was still hidden in the stones the owner had underestimated.
And it's really quite an extraordinary thing. Your £1 investment, you see, is worth £2,000.
Wow.
In antique jewelry, a gemstone does not always have the perfect appearance of a modern diamond. The cutting style, age, and craftsmanship can be just as important as the stone's brilliance. In the end, what was thought to be glass turned out to be a real diamond, combined with rubies and 2/2-carat gold. From a £1 charity shop ring, this small piece became a centuries-old discovery that most people had completely overlooked. Case, 19 SPINEL and diamond Indian bracelet.
This is from our playbox. So when we were dressing up, we would put on the princess ring and the it was an armband. It would go around your arm. And we'd all dress up in mum's old saris and, you know, wander about pretending to be mummies and whatever aunties.
For many years, this bracelet was not seen as a valuable piece of jewelry, but simply as part of the family's childhood memories. It sat inside a playbox, used for dressing up and having fun, with no one realizing that behind its old appearance could be a completely different story. But on Antiques Roadshow, sometimes the most underestimated objects turn out to be the most surprising discoveries.
And again, it was tarnished and horrible and kind of dark brown, and I had it cleaned, and somebody said, "Oh, it's chips of uncut diamond." So, okay.
With antique jewelry, especially pieces from cultures with a long history of craftsmanship like India, appearance does not always reveal true value. Many old gemstones were not cut according to modern standards, but instead preserved the traditional styles of their regions. These differences can sometimes cause genuine precious stones to be mistaken for much simpler materials.
No, I mean, it would be very unlikely that your mother would have just said, let's put this into the toy box, let the children play with it, if it happened to be anything but just brass and glass. Brass and glass.
I think it's brass and glass.
At first, everything seemed to confirm that this was only an ordinary decorative piece. But after a closer examination, the expert noticed details in the materials and craftsmanship that did not match that assumption. And the bracelet, once treated as a toy, began to reveal its true value.
They are diamonds, and they're very, very flat indeed.
Yes.
Typical cuts from the region. The brass and glass bracelet that you casually used as a plaything, £1,500 to £2,000.
Wow!
The stones that appeared ordinary turned out to be diamonds with a cutting style typical of the region. Not only that, the red stones were identified as SPINEL, a gemstone found in many historic pieces of jewelry and often mistaken for ruby. Combined with high-carat gold, the bracelet from the playbox was finally recognized as a real piece of jewelry. Something once used for dressing up became an unexpected discovery, proving that sometimes treasures can be hidden among the most familiar things. Case 20, Victorian opal and diamonds butterfly brooch.
Pin in the shape of a butterfly. I was asked by a friend to go to an estate sale. The estate was from a prominent family in our area, and there were quite a few higher-end, nicer items, and I was able to purchase this at the auction.
At first, this butterfly brooch was simply an interesting piece discovered at an estate sale. But in the world of antique jewelry, even the smallest designs can sometimes hold far more detail than their appearance suggests. Nature-inspired motifs such as flowers, birds, and insects became extremely popular during the Victorian period, when jewelers transformed elements of the natural world into miniature works of art. And with this butterfly pin, the first thing that caught the expert's attention was the stones forming its wings.
I've always wanted to start an appraisal with the two words, biogenic silica. That's opal, silica from the oceans over millions of years, plankton, algae, diatoms. It compresses, and that's basically what opal is.
Opal is different from many other gemstones because of a special visual effect known as play of color. As light moves through its internal structure, high-quality opals can produce constantly changing flashes of color, making the surface of the stone appear almost alive. And the vibrant colors on this brooch revealed another important clue about its origin.
But this type of opal, where you see all this fire and these flashes, most likely came from an area in Australia called Lightning Ridge. There's these huge deposits of this opal that they still mine to this day.
But the brooch was not special because of opal alone. During the Victorian era, butterfly and insect designs often appeared in jewelry because they represented beauty, transformation, and the energy of the natural world. High-quality Victorian pieces also combined different gemstones and detailed craftsmanship to create more elaborate designs. And after a closer inspection, the expert discovered even more details, adding to its value.
You have an old European cut diamond. It's approximately 1/5 of a carat. I'm going to go with, at auction, $3,000 to $5,000 today.
Great. Wonderful. Excellent.
The combination of opal, ruby, diamond, and traditional craftsmanship showed that this was far more than a simple decorative pin. From an estate sale purchase, the butterfly brooch turned out to be a Victorian piece over a century old. A small design that preserved the beauty of natural gemstones, artistic style, and the jewelry-making skills of a past era. Case 211845, Victorian Serpent, bracelet with diamonds.
It belongs to my mother. Yes. She was left it in a will about 55 years ago.
Yes.
And she wore it as a young lady.
Yes.
Went dancing in it, and it fell off. So that's why it's been left in its box in the safe.
For many years, this serpent bracelet was kept away and rarely appeared again. But behind its impressive design was a story that went far beyond an ordinary piece of gold and diamond jewelry. During the Victorian era, images used in jewelry were often chosen with a purpose. Each symbol could represent love, memory, or personal messages that the owner wanted to preserve. And the serpent shape on this bracelet was the first important clue.
Yes, the snake biting its tail is a very ancient emblem of eternity. It's called the Ouroboros, the eternally renewing circle. And the fact it's gold that's incorruptible, and these are all metaphors for love.
During the Victorian period, jewelry was not only a display of wealth or social status. Every shape, color, and material could carry its own meaning. The serpent became one of the most famous symbols of this era, especially after serpent jewelry became popular among the European upper class. But after a closer inspection, the expert discovered this bracelet was not simply a piece representing connection. Hidden behind the beauty of gold and diamonds was another layer of meaning, something much deeper and more emotional.
But it's more than that, actually. It's probably a very sophisticated piece of mourning jewelry. So, mourning is love beyond the grave.
Mourning jewelry was created to preserve memories of loved ones who had passed away. Rather than just decoration, these pieces became personal keepsakes, combining craftsmanship with the stories of the people who owned them. And on this bracelet, a small hidden detail on the back revealed its true meaning.
And so, I think it's worth £8,000 to £10,000.
Really? As much as that? Ooh, goodness.
The hidden details transformed this bracelet from a beautiful piece of jewelry into an object preserving memories from nearly 2 centuries ago. Together with its flexible design, well-preserved enamel, and diamond-decorated serpent head, the piece showed the exceptional craftsmanship of the Victorian era. A bracelet that spent years locked away in a safe ultimately revealed a story of love, loss, and the jewelry-making skill of a time long past. Case 22, Miriam Haskell, white metal and rhinestone necklace.
I bought this about end of 1970. I used to live near Hollywood, and when I moved to Woodinville, I turned into a country bumpkin. There was a jewelry shop at the Hollywood Schoolhouse. So when I saw this, I thought, I gotta have something bright and cheery.
When the owner bought this necklace, she was simply attracted by its bright and eye-catching appearance. But the interesting thing is that not every collectible piece of jewelry needs to be made from gold, diamonds, or rare gemstones. In the world of costume jewelry, value can sometimes come from the design, rarity, and the name behind the creation. And this sparkling necklace was connected to one of the most important names in this field.
It's a beautiful piece of Haskell and a beautiful piece of costume jewelry history. Miriam Haskell had a shop in New York City, and she was very popular in the 50s, and she did a lot of one-of-a-kind pieces.
Miriam Haskell became famous for designs with a unique identity, where the value came not from imitating expensive jewelry, but from creativity and craftsmanship. High-quality Haskell pieces were often handmade with countless small details, creating a luxurious appearance without needing natural gemstones. And this necklace had many elements that made it a desirable collector's piece.
The A is the top of the line, where she would have multiple chains, lots of rhinestones, and major bling. What I love about this piece, not only the fact that you got it for a very reasonable price of $50, is that it has all the bells and whistles of a very, very good collectible Miriam Haskell piece.
The rhinestones' layered structure and level of detail showed that this was far more than an ordinary fashion accessory. In the collecting world, original details like a maker's signature can also create a major difference.
Plus, she signed her piece, Miriam Haskell. This is a signature from the 50s. 2 things that are great about this piece that raises it above the level of a normal Miriam Haskell.
The signature, design, and preserved condition helped make this necklace stand out as a special Miriam Haskell piece. From something purchased simply because it looked cheerful, it turned out to represent an important period in costume jewelry history. A reminder that the value of jewelry is not always found in precious materials, but also in the ideas, style, and identity of the person who created it. Case 2, 318, 5-year-old Victorian ring.
I had it for my 21st birthday from my grandfather.
So, family ring, going back the years,
Going
generations?
back probably only to the beginning of the 1900s, when it belonged to my step-grandfather.
For the owner, this ring was first and foremost a special birthday gift passed down through the family. At first, everyone believed its history only went back to the early 1900s. But in the world of antique jewelry, an object can sometimes be much older than the story passed down with it. Details such as the stone setting, materials, and craftsmanship can reveal an age that even the family never realized.
Well, it's almost got the head of the ring is like a box. A pretty garnet in the middle there, isn't it? That purpley colour garnet. Looks a bit like a ruby, but I think looking at this purple colour, it's going to be a garnet.
After a closer inspection, the expert noticed many features connected to Victorian jewelry. This period was known for designs that were not only beautiful, but also filled with creativity and clever ideas. The combination of garnet, small diamonds, and blue enamel created a style closely associated with that era. However, the biggest surprise was not hidden in the gemstones.
Because the whole thing is like a concertina, and there, instead of just having a ring,
It's a bracelet.
it's a lady's bracelet.
This transforming mechanism was what made the piece truly special. Convertible jewelry was a fascinating part of jewelry history, requiring craftsmen to create pieces that were both beautiful and functional in more than one form. A ring that could expand into a bracelet showed the creativity and impressive hand craftsmanship of an earlier period. And this unusual design helped the expert uncover its real age.
Well, I think it's probably early Victorian, about 1840.
1845, 1850 would be about the latest I would put on it, and it's very much 1840.
From a family ring believed to be just over a century old, the piece turned out to have survived for nearly 185 years. Its value came not only from the gemstones, but from its rare design and the transforming mechanism still preserved today. A family birthday gift became a small example of the creativity of Victorian jewelry makers.
But I would have thought that it's worth probably between £3,000 to £5,000.
God, I never thought, never ever thought.
Case 24, 18th century flower jewelry.
And in the Renaissance, the word for a flower was the word for two objects. One was a flower, of course, itself, but also for a jewel. And in a way, this is exactly what you brought. You brought me a fair flower of a necklace.
From the first look, the expert realized this was not just a piece of jewelry shaped like flowers. Behind this delicate design was a style that appeared among European high society hundreds of years ago, when jewelry represented not only wealth, but also fashion, art, and luxurious social events. But what made this piece truly special was its real age.
Well, I thought maybe the kind of 18th century, I'm not sure. That's right.
Well, exactly. And it is 18th century, and it's set with various coloured stones.
Confirming that this was 18th century jewelry opened the door to a completely different era. Before electric lighting existed, many pieces of jewelry were created to shine beautifully under candlelight. Every stone and reflective surface was designed to stand out during dances and evening gatherings. Interestingly, the combination of colored stones and glass may be the reason the necklace survived intact, as many valuable pieces were later taken apart for their gemstones or precious metals.
And it takes us into a luminous world of entertainment in the 1760s of dress and dances and masks. And this would have been worn.
The next surprise came from the matching ring. At first, the small stones could easily be mistaken for imitation materials often found in antique jewelry. But the expert identified them as rose-cut diamonds, a very old diamond cut created for a time when jewelry was designed to sparkle under candles rather than modern lighting.
And I think I'm going to put a value of £1,200 on the necklace.
Okay, very nice.
And £2,000 on the ring.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much. That's great.
From small and fragile family pieces, this flower necklace and ring turned out to preserve a piece of history, a glimpse into the fashion, candlelit world, and craftsmanship of more than 200 years ago. Case 2, 5150-year-old Irish silver spoon warmer.
Well, I remember my father buying it along with a lot of mess silver. I sold them because, quite honestly, insurances and everything else was too much. Yes. But I've always loved this.
Among the many silver pieces once owned by the family, this was the item the owner decided to keep. Not because she knew exactly how valuable it was, but simply because it had a special meaning to her. At first glance, it looked like a spoon warmer, a silver object once found on the dining tables of wealthy families. But after a closer inspection, the expert realized this piece had a completely different purpose.
My initial reaction is a spoon warmer.
And you get a big surprise when you open the lid.
This is it, because now, a money box?
Yes, a swear box on the table.
The surprise was that this was not just an object used for dining. A swear box was used to collect money whenever someone said something inappropriate or broke certain rules in a shared space. This turned the piece into a fascinating glimpse of Victorian social life, where even a small tradition could be represented through a carefully crafted silver object. But the biggest question was whether it was originally made this way.
Because normally if you get a spoon warmer of this form, which there are many around, they're electroplated. This is silver.
Yeah.
But there's another surprise, because it's Irish silver.
Really?
Here we are, it's Dublin, 1866.
Right.
The hallmarks on the silver revealed the true origin of the piece. Unlike many similar spoon warmers that were only electroplated, this object was made from real silver and identified as Irish silver from Dublin in 1866. These marks act like a historical record, helping reveal when and where an antique silver piece was created. The original design confirmed that it was not a modified spoon warmer, but a rare silver swear box made for this purpose.
Yes.
So, fascinating object. I have to say, I suggest you perhaps insure it for somewhere around $5,000.
Really?
From what seemed like a simple family silver object, this piece turned out to preserve a small part of 19th century social history. Its value came not only from the material or age, but also from the unusual story hidden behind its familiar appearance. Case 26. Absolutely beautiful jewelry collection.
Let's see what's got inside. Glint of all kinds. Oh, look, pretty ring there. Black enamel and diamonds.
Sometimes the most interesting discoveries on Antiques Roadshow do not come from just one single item, but from a small collection that has been kept through generations. Inside this jewelry bag were several different pieces, each carrying its own piece of history. And as soon as the expert noticed the first black enamel and diamond ring, it became clear that this was not just a beautiful design, but a piece of jewelry with a much deeper meaning.
This is probably a memorial jewel, and as I turn it in the light, I can see perfectly well it's engraved on the back with a dedication inscription. It says, to Jane Redmond Smith. Jane Redmond Smith died the 15th of April, 1805, aged 58 years.
This ring belongs to a category known as mourning jewelry pieces that became especially popular during the 18th and 19th centuries. They were created to preserve the memory of loved ones who had passed away, with colors, inscriptions, and designs all chosen to carry a personal meaning. But this was only the beginning of the collection. The other pieces continued to reveal how jewelry from the past was used not only for decoration, but also as a way to carry hidden messages.
And what is clever about this diamond brooch in the form of a bee with a pearl body and ruby eyes is that it's a little message of love, actually, because it's a rebus, it's a sort of crossword. It's be sure of my love.
The bee brooch is a perfect example of the creativity found in antique jewelry. Symbols, gemstones, and images from nature were sometimes combined to create a secret language, turning a piece of jewelry into a personal message. From the early 19th century mourning ring to the brooch and later diamond designs, this small bag preserved different chapters in the history of jewelry making.
So I think you'd have to reckon that that alone is something like £1,200 to £1,500 to a collector. Really, you could expect to get £6,000 for that today.
What first appeared to be a family jewelry collection kept for sentimental reasons turned out to be a remarkable group of historical pieces. Their value came not only from diamonds, pearls, or precious materials, but also from the personal stories, hidden meanings, and craftsmanship preserved across generations. Case 28, French gold and enamel scent bottle.
We have my grandmother's bat necklace,
It was given to her in the 1920s by Mrs. Clark, a very wealthy woman of the Clark sewing family. My grandfather and grandmother had done work for her. He was an interior decorator and had painted a black satin bedspread for her. And my grandmother was a fabulous seamstress and had done some work for her. So she invited them over one afternoon to say thank you.
For more than 40 years, this small object remained a mystery within the family. It once appeared in a portrait of the owner's mother as a piece of jewelry worn around the neck, but afterwards it was placed inside a safe deposit box with very little known about its true origin. At first, the family only had guesses about where it was made, but the expert quickly noticed the first unusual detail. This object was never meant to be used in the way they had imagined.
She told my grandmother that they had bought it in Paris.
Did she give her any idea when they bought it in Paris?
Since it's translucent when I hold it up to the light, I thought it was mother of pearl and probably freshwater pearl drops.
Instead of a regular pendant, it was actually a scent bottle, a miniature container for fragrance that was once used as a fashion accessory. During the 19th century, personal items like this were not only practical objects, but also reflected the status and taste of the owner. And with a closer inspection, the expert discovered the craftsmanship hidden inside this tiny piece.
What we have here is a real French Art Nouveau jewel. Now, the first generation of French Art Nouveau jewelry comes from the masters such as René Lalique, 95s, and I think this piece dates from around 1900 because it is mass manufactured.
The scent bottle was identified as a French piece, dating from around 1880 foot. The colorful decoration was not porcelain, but enamel on metal, a technique that creates a bright, durable surface with a sense of depth. Combined with high-quality gold and carefully finished metalwork, the piece revealed the detail and refinement of luxury accessories from that period.
A fair auction estimate for this piece is in the range of $4,000 to $6,000.
Really? I'm shocked.
The value of this object came not only from its precious materials, but also from its design and craftsmanship. A small perfume bottle like this represented a time when even everyday items could be transformed into portable works of art. From a family piece once mistaken for ordinary jewelry, this scent bottle turned out to be a French gold and enamel creation over a century old. A small keepsake ultimately revealed a story of fashion, craftsmanship, and the elegance of a past era. Case 28, French gold and enamel scent bottle.
It's been in my family for over 40 years. I don't know anything about the piece itself, and my mother was wearing this in the portrait, and ever since then it's been disappeared into the safe deposit box, and I inherited it.
For more than 40 years, this small object remained a mystery within the family. It once appeared in a portrait of the owner's mother as a piece of jewelry worn around the neck, but afterwards it was placed inside a safe deposit box with very little known about its true origin. At first, the family only had guesses about where it was made, but the expert quickly noticed the first unusual detail. This object was never meant to be used in the way they had imagined.
In the portrait, where was she wearing it?
Around her neck.
She was wearing it around her neck.
Yes.
How interesting. Because that's not where it should be.
Really?
It is a scent bottle.
Instead of a regular pendant, it was actually a scent bottle, a miniature container for fragrance that was once used as a fashion accessory. During the 19th century, personal items like this were not only practical objects, but also reflected the status and taste of the owner. And with a closer inspection, the expert discovered the craftsmanship hidden inside this tiny piece.
This was probably made around 1880, and it is French. Actually, it's not. The colorful part here is enamel on metal, made with 18 karat or higher yellow gold.
The scent bottle was identified as a French piece, dating from around 1880 foot. The colorful decoration was not porcelain, but enamel on metal, a technique that creates a bright, durable surface with a sense of depth. Combined with high-quality gold and carefully finished metalwork, the piece revealed the detail and refinement of luxury accessories from that period.
The chain is gold, the mounts are gold, so the metalwork is really exquisitely chased, finished. It has a different color gold around the outside.
The value of this object came not only from its precious materials, but also from its design and craftsmanship. A small perfume bottle like this represented a time when even everyday items could be transformed into portable works of art.
Never had it appraised.
At auction today, that would probably bring around $7,000 to $9,000.
Wow, that's great.
From a family piece once mistaken for ordinary jewelry, this scent bottle turned out to be a French gold and enamel creation over a century old. A small keepsake ultimately revealed a story of fashion, craftsmanship, and the elegance of a past era. Case 29, Late Georgian Chalcedony pendants.
I inherited them from my great-aunt Georgie. I figured that they were Victorian era and possibly only worn for dressy occasions. I wanted information because I don't know what the stones are, and I made an assumption that the filigree is gold, but I didn't know that either.
For the owner, these earrings were a family piece that had been passed down, but many details about them remained a mystery. She believed they were from the Victorian era, but did not know exactly what the stones were, what material was used, or the true story behind them. In antique jewelry, just a few clues from the materials and craftsmanship can completely change the understanding of an item's age.
They're 15-karat gold, which tells us that they're probably English, not American. And the gold around it is chased. It's called chasing, so that's where you get all those little crevices.
The 15-karat gold detail suggested that the earrings were most likely English. The decoration was also created using a technique called chasing, a handcrafting method used to create patterns and depth on the metal surface. It was a sign of carefully made jewelry from a time before mass production. But the central stone became the key detail that helped the expert identify the true period of the piece.
The stone is really interesting. It's called chalcedony, and it's a form of agate, and it's a stone that was used during this period, but it's not Victorian, which would put it 1820 to 1840.
The stone was identified as chalcedony, a material appreciated in early 19th century jewelry for its soft and elegant appearance. This revealed that the earrings were not Victorian as the family believed, but actually belonged to the late Georgian period, making them even older than expected. Beyond their age, the unusual design also made the earrings much more interesting.
The value as is $1,500. Oh. And I would repair them. And I think once repaired, you're looking at something that's probably going to be $3,000.
From a family pair of earrings with an unknown background, the piece was identified as Georgian English jewelry made with 15-karat gold, chalcedony, and traditional craftsmanship. More than just a collectible item, it preserves an intelligent design that has survived for almost 200 years. Case 30, Alaska Belt Buckle.
I got it at an auction 2-3 years ago. It's all Alaska gold and mammoth ivory. And of course, there's some diamonds.
Can I ask you what you paid for it?
I think about $5,700.
From the beginning, this belt buckle was clearly not an ordinary accessory. Purchased at an auction, it immediately stood out because of its combination of unique materials closely connected to Alaska. But what caught the appraiser's attention was not only its bold appearance, but also the amount of gold, the craftsmanship involved, and the story hidden within each detail.
There's 5 troy ounces of gold here, a substantial amount of gold. These nuggets, they're soldered to a base of gold. It's a lot of work and labor.
5 troy ounces of gold was already impressive, but what made the piece even more interesting was the use of natural gold nuggets in the design. Unlike refined gold, these nuggets are directly connected to Alaska's identity and its famous gold mining history. Every detail of the buckle showed that this was not simply a flashy object, but a carefully crafted piece requiring significant work.
I love this part that this is mastodon tusk, could be mammoth. All the elements here, except for the diamonds, are truly from Alaska. Just everywhere you look, it's got this beautiful little sign of quality.
The combination of Alaskan gold, mammoth or mastodon ivory, and handmade details turned the buckle into a piece filled with local character. Even the design representing Alaska made it feel like a small symbol of the region itself. And its value increased even further because of the impressive centerpiece.
Approximately 5 carats in diamonds in the center.
Probably during the pipeline days, I would think.
Which is what year? Roughly?
The 70s.
The buckle's bold style perfectly reflected the spirit of the 1970s. Large scale, precious materials, and an eye-catching design. It was not just an accessory, but a combination of natural history, Alaskan culture, and jewelry craftsmanship.
This is so Alaskan that in the right auction, I think something like this could be $20,000 to $40,000.
From an auction purchase worth a few $1,000s, this Alaska belt buckle turned out to be far more valuable than expected. Not only because of the gold or diamonds, but because almost every detail tells a story about nature, exploration history, and the unique spirit of Alaska. Case 31, California Gold Rush Jewelry.
My mother was friends with a 49er miner who lived down the street, and they used to garden together. And I remember this man. He was very tall. He had a long gray beard. He wore a red plaid shirt or red shirt always with suspenders.
This piece of jewelry did not begin its story in a jewelry store, but through a very personal connection with a real gold miner. The owner did not just preserve the object itself, but also the memory of the person who gave it to the family. And what made it even more special was that the pieces of gold inside could be directly connected to one of the most famous periods in American history.
Part of what makes it very special is your connection to somebody who actually mined this out of the ground in the California gold rushes. There's a lot of gold miners that went for the California gold rushes. Hundreds of thousands of people came to look for gold, came to find their fortune, and very few of them did.
The California Gold Rush attracted hundreds of thousands of people searching for fortune, but very few actually found gold. Most of the gold discovered appeared as tiny flakes or gold dust, while larger natural gold nuggets were much rarer. And this piece became especially interesting because it preserved both forms of gold.
Most of the gold that came from the California finds came up as these little bits of, these little flakes, tiny little flakes, which look almost like dust. Right. And then fewer of them, far fewer of them came up out of the ground as whole pieces, as whole nuggets. Actually, this is pretty interesting because he's got both kinds here.
Unlike fine jewelry created to look flawless, this piece still carried the raw character of gold as it appeared in nature. The natural gold pieces, local craftsmanship, and the story behind it made it feel more like a direct keepsake from the gold rush era than a typical commercial item.
It's the California Gold Rush jewelry. It's a big part of our history. It is. And I would give this an auction estimate of $1,500 to $2,500.
Oh, you're kidding. I just don't believe that.
Its value was not only in the gold itself, but also in its provenance, the real connection to the person who mined those pieces of gold from the earth more than a century ago. Case 32, Cartier Diamond Dress Clips.
She loved them and she wore them every Saturday night. Dark hair, dark eyes, red lips, red fingernails, and she was always dressed in black. So they, to me, mean good.
For the owner, these dress clips were first and foremost a keepsake connected to her mother's image and personal style. But behind the jewelry she wore on those Saturday nights was a name that could completely change its value. As the appraiser examined them, each detail from the materials and design to their origin showed that these were not ordinary decorative clips.
They are platinum, diamond, Cartier clips. What's great about jewelry from this period, and I would date these to around about 1930. These are signed Cartier. They also have a serial number.
The Cartier signature and serial number confirm the quality of the piece. Around 1930, Cartier was at the height of the Art Deco era, creating refined geometric designs and using platinum to build delicate structures strong enough to hold diamonds. However, what impressed the appraiser most was the quality of the stones.
Altogether, you have about 20 carats of diamonds. The two large center stones are each about 2 carats. They are the height of quality. They're incredibly luscious and sparkly and well matched.
With around 20 carats of diamonds, combined with Cartier's Art Deco design and exceptional craftsmanship, the clips became a truly special piece of jewelry. Their value came not only from the amount of diamonds, but from how they were selected, arranged, and finished.
Conservatively, I would say an auction estimate on the pair would be in the neighborhood of $30,000 to $50,000.
Wow.
They truly are museum pieces.
That surprises me.
From a piece of jewelry connected to memories of her mother, these dress clips turned out to be a genuine Cartier Art Deco creation. Beyond their value of tens of thousands of dollars, they represent one of the most important periods in the history of fine jewelry.